You are probably wondering why I'm doing this update on my bike. Well, this was a challenge from my good friend Jeff. Well, there you go, Jeff. The update is done on the bike this week. Welcome to the top 5 data, AI, and analytics posts of the week. Let's get started with the latest from the guys at theCUBE on CIO spend analysis. And what they found is that we're fairly flat for the next 2 years, but there's certainly some areas that are getting the lion's share of the CIO spend. One of them, of course, is collaboration and communication. But outside of those, the number one after that is data and analytics. So I encourage you to take a look at David Valente's review of it. He does a great job. It's a 20-minute video or so, but he takes you through the CIO spend. Very instructive. Hopefully help you at your company. Also highlighted this week, the good, the bad, and the ugly of data. This is coming from Randy Bean's research on chief data officers in the enterprise. And the good is that 98.8%, almost 100% of these chief data officers say that they're investing in data initiatives. So that's the good news. The good, I guess, is that 50% are managing it as a data asset. But the ugly is that 90% of them are saying that the barriers for adoption have nothing to do with technology. They have everything to do with people and process, in fact, culture. So take a look at that research. Hopefully you'll find some interesting stats there. I'm interested in hearing what you're seeing in best practices and how to develop a data-driven culture. There's a lot of discussion ready on my thread. Feel free to engage. Lori, thank you for your comment there. We know this is not a new problem, and so hopefully together we can have a discussion that helps us solve this issue. Also, interestingly related is Matt Turk's landscape for the data and AI landscape for 2020. He does this every year. He's highlighted a few topics there that you might be interested in. First one, of course, is every company, in order to succeed, needs to be a data company. And he's showing you basically all the software organizations that can help you get there. But remember the first comment here, it's not just technology, it's also people and process. I also want to send a shout out to a few heroes this week. The first one is Nick Orlov, who does this great video series and simplifies cloud data warehousing. It's a series called BigQuery Spotlight. I interviewed him and asked him about his best practices. You know, he's not in marketing. This is a practitioner who works with some of the most mature organizations. And so he's sharing that video, a few best practices. Take a look at it. Hopefully it will be helpful to you. I also want to thank Krishna, Chief Data Officer at Bristol Squid, who spent some time this week to brainstorm with me on data and value. I want to thank you, Krishna, for doing that, and also for the continued effort you're putting into the community, sharing great resource. In fact, Randy Bean's research is one of the research pieces that you forwarded that I decided to highlight. And then, of course, Prashanth, who launched his book this week, Analytics Best Practices. If you have not gotten a copy of it, make sure you take a look at the book launch. He shared the video at the opportunity with Mario Faria from Gartner at the opportunity to talk at Prashanth's book launch. And I talked about best practices there, like RAT. What is RAT? Well, you have to listen to what it means, but it's the attributes of data that's useful to your organization. I talked about the 6 stages. I talked about AI. It's a quick 15-minute talk. I also put on my podcast. Hopefully you'll be able to get value out of that. And then to close our week, I'll leave you with this quote of the week from Antonio Damasio, who says, "We are not thinking machines that feel, we are feeling machines that think." When you think about the issue that I started with, culture, and how you're going to be able to become a data-driven company, think about that as well. Think about emotional intelligence. And hopefully in this thread, people will comment, like, share, and share the best practices and help us continue this conversation on data-driven organizations, data-driven best practices. Jeff, thank you for issuing that challenge. I am still safe. I'm going to stop biking, and I'm going to thank you all for engaging. Stay in touch, connect, share, like, comment, and I will see you next week.